further the game along. Alright, so basically nothing. Alright. Does he still... No, there's no diamond, right? Alright, she still has a diamond on her, so we'll go check out what this chick wants. See, you might argue this is a little too bright, and if you do, I feel you. But once I start screwing around with the color calibration sliders, the game can actually look like straight ugly if you have this calibrated wrong, because there is a yellow filter. Now, if people are able to mod this game, I would not be surprised if they mod that yellow filter out. They did it for The Witcher. All right, what do you want, babe? You want me to build you a tent? Okay, I can do that. I can build you shelter. See, there's no prompt, so I have to stand in the right spot for this, which is ridiculous. Okay, I don't have enough deer skin. Ain't that a bia? All right, so I need deer skin. You've got the general idea of the high preset. Okay, it's 50s and 60s. Sometimes it goes into the 40s. All right. Now, what makes it do that? I'm not super sure because it's gone into the 40s when I'm just standing still, when I'm not fighting or anything. So I can't even say when there's a lot of action on the screen. Okay, video, graphics quality. Let's go straight to ultra. Let's just pop that nut right now. We'll do VSync off for the first few seconds. Wow. All right. I'm surprised it's in the 40s at all. 30s is what I was expecting. So I would say expect 30s. Be happy if you get 40s. Oh, that diamond's probably there for her deer thing. Well, for her hut thing. But I need to find deer and then I need to kill deer. Now the question. Oh, you know what? I have an owl. I forgot. All right. So the game gives you an owl. This is basically a performance demonstration and kind of showing you a little bit of what the game expects you to do. All right. I need to fly my owl, which is tedious. The owl... Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna turn on the hunter vision. Yes, I am. The game is prettier without hunter vision, but I'm in a hurry. All right, so we need to find some deer. I don't see any deer. That's probably a wolf. No, it's a plant, actually. Yeah, plants will light up as red when you have hunter vision. Isn't that special? All right, so we're probably going to have to go looking for deer. I was going to say hunting. That was actually the first word that came to mind. But no, that's... I mean, yeah, we are hunting them. But we need to find them. Are you a deer? I don't even know what you are. You're just yellow. And you could be a goat. All right. So I'm going to go over here. But yeah, you send the owl off to go look for things. Now, the owl is very useful for finding enemies. And enemies are pretty obvious because they're standing up. They're human beings. But as you can see, it was not super obvious what kind of animal. I mean, I know I saw an animal. But what kind of animal did I see? See, I think those are goats. Yeah, that's not a deer. That's a goat. Right? Or maybe it is a deer. Off to the right, the one that ran over here. Oh, I forgot. I have my wolf. I have my wolf, so I can send him after a deer, which would actually be very useful. Now, obviously, I've lost track. All right, here. Come on, buddy. Why you do me like this? I think that's a deer. All right, I think I got one in him. There we go. There we go. I couldn't see the prompt to send my wolf after that thing. Oh man, you can. Okay, so when I send my wolf after a predator, it's like whatever, you know. I mean, the predator was going to kill me, But when I send my wolf after a deer or a goat or something, I feel a little dirty for that. And where are those two? I mean, they took off, didn't they? I didn't know if maybe I ran past a carcass. No, that's slate. Remember, this is the Ultra preset. Alright, we have a little X on the minimap, a little grayed out X. And then you can even turn on your hunter vision to find the corpse. Skin the deer. Alright, I don't think I have 4 deer skin yet. Oh, come on, go get that deer. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it feels dirty, but at the same time, chasing the deer sucks anyway, so it is slightly convenient. Now, one thing I like is you can keep your bow ready for a long time. This is not one of those games that, you know, you hold your bow for a couple seconds and it shoots the arrow whether you want it to or not. Hey, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. Yeah, that's very annoying. Here, let me pet you so the viewers can see what I mean? I want to pet my wolf, and I have to stand in exactly the right. There we go, exactly the right spot to make that prompt show up. Now I'm next to the wolf. It should more or less guess that I might want to pet it. But look, no pet, no pet, no pet, no pet. Ah, pet. Now I can pet. So that is a slight... Actually, it's more than a slight annoyance. It's only a slight annoyance because I haven't run into the issue too many times. But over the course of the game, it can be a tremendous annoyance. So as you can see, 30s and 40s for the Ultra preset. All right. Are there some more deer? Let's send the owl looking for deer. By the way, if an animal attacks you, or a person for that matter, if you get attacked while you're using the owl, it kicks you out of using the owl. Send the beast. Yeah, you can do that. Look at that. So you can actually send the beast from the owl mode. So that's pretty cool. How long is this video? Is 24 minutes long. So there's a pro tip for you. 24 minutes into the video, guys. See, it pays to watch the videos. So there's the deer. There's my wolf chasing the deer. There's some little dingo, little dole thingy. I'll take him off my deer's Bozak. That's some 90s slang for you. All right, where's the deer? I know the deer's over here. There's the blood pool. There's the dole or whatever. Okay, so I see the deer. I see him. Is right there. The thing is, I'm very close to the grayed out X. If you look at that mini map, I'm on top of the grayed out X. And I had hunter vision on, and it still wasn't super apparent where the deer is. So that's one thing I've noticed that they do. Now you might be asking yourself, well, why is this yellow? Why is it not red? If this was red, maybe it would be easier to find, like when you're in hunter eyesight mode. And I think the reason is there are times in the game where you have to follow a blood trail that's important to progress the story along. So they make sure that like important things are red, but incidental things are yellow. Now, one thing that becomes a huge nuisance is when you're... So what happens in this game is you have your homeboys, right? Oh shit, that's a bear. Sorry for the cuss word, but I'm probably about to die. Well, that's not ideal. This is an old Far Cry trick. You can slide yourself down these mountain ridges, and normally the AI will not follow you. So if you really got to beat feet, you can do that. You can go that way. Look how pretty that is. 2 GB GTX 960 Ultra preset with VSync on. My poor wolf. My wolf is dying. Come on, buddy. Come over here. Like, seriously. Is there a way to call the wolf? No? Okay, then. Well, my wolf's going to die. All right. There's no getting around that. Your beast was killed. Revive it in the beast menu. Okay. Oh, these little douchebags over here can be tamed. What do you get for that? It skins the carcasses. Okay, so these little dole things will actually skin the deer for me. All right, so I don't have to go find the gray X and do that. Skins carcasses and gathers resources after a kill. All right, actually that sounds pretty good. But is it strong enough to kill the deer is the question. White wolf has more speed and more strength. Oh, this thing's locked anyway. So it's a moot point. Now the rare stripe wolf, if I could find that sucker. Alright, whatever. Let's just bring this dude back to life. What do we got to do? I don't see anything that says press A, but I'm going to press A. Did you guys see the words press the A button? Because I didn't see that. There he is over there. I didn't see it tell me to press the A button when I was in there. But, I mean, I did it because I figured that's what I needed to do. Alright. Anyway, 2 gigabyte GTX 960 Ultra preset, VSync on. This ain't bad. This doesn't look bad. I still would prefer the high preset right now. To me, 60 frames per second is definitely my jam. I am in the 60 frame per second club. However, this is what I'm going to tell you guys. A lot of people say, well, AI, this is still better than a console, is it not? And yes, it is. You're 100% correct. This is better than a console. You are not wrong in that regard. This is better than a console. But for me, I don't put together a several $100 computer to just be better than a console. And even if you put together a cheap computer, I do, for me, PC gaming is not to be just better than a console, if that makes sense. I was trying to get up here for a better view before I switch it to the very high preset. I don't do just barely better than a console. Although this is much better than a console. This destroys the console, okay? This takes the console's lunch money, don't get me wrong. This destroys the console. There's no doubt about it. And even though it's not 60 frames per second, it's still really, really good. It's still way smoother than console is going to be, especially for when you pan the camera. Look at that. I can pan the camera for days, and we're not going to have any trouble. All right. Now I have to go to the Gray X, because I don't have an animal that skins for me. Hey, that's a rare black dole. Very interesting. All right, and then, okay, my hut's that way. Look at that. For once, they have a yellow diamond out for me. All right, let's go to the very high preset. And I'll turn VSync off. Because I know people hate VSync. Oh my God, the comments hate VSync. I'm well aware of the fact that people hate VSync. The VSync hate on the internet is strong. I am fully aware of that. Me, I like VSync because I hate screen tearing. To me, screen tearing is a worse crime than anything VSync does. Now, with that said, there are some games where the input lag for VSync is a real detriment. Especially if you're playing an online shooter that does not have, what's it called? I'm using a controller, aim assist. If I'm playing an online game an online shooter that doesn't have aim assist, sometimes the input lag sucks enough that I will put up a screen tearing if I have to. Alright, so there goes the wolf against the human being. So I was trying to tell you earlier about a human being. So check this out. Here's the issue. That is my homeboy. But he's barely got a green X on him when I aim at him. Here's the problem with that. This needs to be like Far Cry 4. This needs to be like Far Cry 4. Let me shoot him in the head. Who is hitting me? And then you heal. Healing looks like this. It's almost always that animation for some reason. There's all kinds of gray X's on the ground now. Alright, so here's the issue. Far Cry 4 puts like a very obvious... I've been poisoned. I saw that arrow light up green before it hit me. You can be poisoned by bee stings, snake bites. Poison will drain my health. There must be an antidote recipe somewhere in this world. Great. I'm poisoned. Alright. I definitely need to probably heal myself. Okay. So, Far Cry 4, let me get this thought out of my head here, very clearly puts a green diamond at all times above your comrades, right? Your little homeboys, your buddies, your comrades, your allies. You aim at them or use your camera, use your binoculars. It's a camera in Far Cry 4, I'm almost sure of it. And, okay, so there's another enemy around. So what we can do, they're coming this way. We can throw up the owl real quick. And the owl's going to spot him. See? And then I can send my beast over there. Alright. In Far Cry 4, you aim at him, you use your camera, whatever. There's a green diamond over your allies at all times. Plus, your allies are very clearly wearing blue clothing. Wow, they are destroying my wolf, apparently. There you go, buddy. Huh. My club is still burning. It's almost done burning. It's almost burnt out, as you can see. So, in Far Cry 4, you don't really run the risk of killing your friends on accident, is the long, drawn-out point we're trying to get to here. In Far Cry Primal, it is very easy to kill your allies because they're not wearing blue while the enemy wears red. They don't have a green diamond over them. Look, I'm looking for the prompt. I must have already done it. I was looking for the prompt to skin that animal or search that person. Okay, there's a red thing on my mini map, but I don't see an aha. No? Okay, see, sometimes it is hard to find stuff. It is hard to find the animals or whatever. This is where I think playing at 60 frames per second is helpful. Okay? I really do. I think when you play at 60 frames per second and you got the game performing at its best, it's easier to discern things that you're looking for. Hey, go kill a goat. Alright, so I have killed my allies in this game, and then they get really mad about it. And this isn't like other... Okay, so I need to make this clear to you also. You have when you start this game out, you're like the sole survivor of your clan. And the whole point of the game is to build your clan up. And I'm at a point where I've got like 12 clan members at the most. And when I accidentally kill one of my clan members, then I have 11 clan members left, right? So it's kind of a problem. I don't really have that many clan members laying around that I can spare. Sorry, I'm looking for the gray X's on my mini-map, so I can skin or search whatever's laying around. So I don't have... Is that not a plant that I can pick? I don't have all of these... whatever clan members I can spare. Which, by the way, look at this. Where did the yellow diamond go? Remember, I remarked on the yellow diamond not that long ago, a few minutes ago. I was like, oh, look, it's on the mini-map for once. And now it's not anymore. This is how the game does me. Sometimes it takes my my waypoint. It just takes it away from me. It's like, you don't need this anymore. Or it takes the yellow diamond away. It just won't show up on the mini-map, which is really frustrating. I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know if the game is designed that way. Why it would be designed that way, I have no idea. I don't really know what the issue is. Oh, look, there's a green arrow over here, which means it's one of my homeboys. Now, sometimes you have to actively tell your homeboys to go back to your camp. Hey, would you please go back to the camp, buddy? All right, well, he's going to stand here and get himself killed is what he's going to do. But whatever. So anyway, you don't want to do friendly fire. You don't want to kill your own people. And then on top of that, if you kill one of your people in front of your other people, in this game, they instantly, like, all the So let's say I got 3 of my people standing around. I kill one of them. The other 2 now want to kill me. So I have to run away from them because I don't want to kill them. If I kill them, then instead of having 12 people, now I have 9 because I've got the first one I killed plus the other 2. 12 minus 3 equals 9. So anyway, the friendly fire thing is a huge issue in this game. At least I think it is. Let me turn on VSync. As you can see, the frame rate for very high is not atrocious. I mean, it's been in the 40s for the most part. It's not bad. I personally believe high, if you have a GTX 960, is the way to go with this game. What we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we will... I know I turned VSync on, right? But I think I just saw screen tearing. I did not turn VSync on. Okay, then. There we go. See, I thought I saw screen tearing and VSync was off. This actually looks pretty good now. I like VSync, okay, for the most part. I'm on Team VSync. I think it makes things look better. I know people have told me, oh, it doesn't make things look better. You're stupid. I disagree. I think it makes things look better. Keep in mind, I have 3 different relatively high-end monitors that I use for my game testing. And I'm not saying that to be... I don't have a word for it. I'm not saying that to be difficult or to be a jerk or be conceited or anything. But I take my job fairly seriously. And I use 3 different monitors. So before I start saying something looks better or this, that, or the other, I actually compare it on more than $1,000 worth of monitors before I even make that assessment and pass it on to you guys. So anyway, what we're going to do is we will go back, build a hut for that chick, see what they tell me to do next, and I will probably go to the high preset, but then I'll turn some other stuff up. Okay, you're my homeboy. You're my wolf. Where's the gray X? It's over here. See how difficult it can be to find things? Let me take this moment to say that this game is more complex than Far Cry 4. Total Biscuit goes on a rant about how badly this game performs. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is the best performing game in the world. However, I will tell you this is way more intricate. This is way more intricate than Far Cry 4. There are so many different flowers on the ground. Look at this. Like just standing here, there's different flowers, different grass, different lengths of grass, different kinds of leaves, different kinds of foliage. It's just there's so many differences. Now the thing is, you might not appreciate that at first because it all looks so samey. They kind of screwed themselves with what they did with the art direction because you have to pay attention. You have to stand here and look at this and pay attention to understand they actually made a more sophisticated game than Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4, in my opinion, is much simpler looking than this game is. Although this game is so samey looking that it gives the impression that, there's not much to it. But there's a lot to it. And then even when you move the camera around, I don't have an area picked out for you to show you right now, but I've been in areas of the game where it is interesting how many different things are scrolling on the screen at once. Remember old Super Nintendo games? Didn't they have parallax scrolling? Or maybe they didn't. Maybe that was a 32-bit thing. But remember parallax scrolling where you basically have your character on one plane, then there's a background and a foreground, and all 3 planes are doing different things? This game reminds me of that sometimes, the way certain things are placed, the way things scroll. I find it to be a more sophisticated game than Far Cry 4. However, at first glance, it does not look more impressive than Far Cry 4 or even Far Cry 3. And that is kind of a problem that the game has. You know what I mean? It's. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I can't call the beast from here. That sucks. I wanted to send the beast over there. You know, on one hand, I'm trying to defend the game, but on the other hand, it does look samey, and I can see why it wouldn't impress people. At first glance, I think a lot of people are going to think Far Cry 3 is a better looking game, where this is way more sophisticated than Far Cry 3. Way more. In every way possible, this is more sophisticated than Far Cry 3. It's just, it all looks so samey that I don't think most people can appreciate it. So, this is not going to be a game that's for everyone. Let me look. Oh my god, we're at 42 minutes for this video. 42 minutes. I make that point because, you know, we played 42 minutes. And if you're watching for this long, if you've been watching the whole video this long, you know, maybe you will appreciate this game, but I don't think a lot of people will. You know, this is going to be one of those long videos I make that I don't think a lot of people are going to want to watch because I wasn't even interested in this game when it came out. It was really Angry Centaur Gaming who did pre-release coverage of the game. Really, it was him that made me even want to check the game out. Because he was like, yeah, this game doesn't seem impressive at first, but it's really not that bad. And I'm totally losing my voice right now. All right, so let's see what happens right here. I need a drink of water. We're going to see what happens right here. Of course I'm going to accept it. And get a cough drop. Okay. We got us another gold diamond. Here, let me go ahead and change the graphic settings. Alright, so we're going to go to the high preset. Okay. We're going to start at high. Which I think high looks very good. And remember, high gets us in the 50s and 60s. Even with VSync on. Okay. Now granted, I get it. With high, things look a little muddled together. But we're going to work on this. So we started at high. Now we're going to go to video quality settings. The first thing I want to do is turn volumetric fog down. And see what that does. Because I normally hate volumetric fog in just about every game ever. It is very rare that I feel volumetric fog has done something good for the game. Alright, now due to the time of day that it is right now, it's hard for me to tell if I like this right now. Because I can tell the lighting engine in this game actually does benefit a little bit from the volumetric fog. Let me turn it back up. Okay, I do think the volumetric fog actually helped a little. Let me double check. This is the problem with live benchmarking. Live benchmarking is not the quickest thing in the world. Yeah, I think I like it on high. Although the volumetric fog on when I put it on normal, it actually separates things on the screen a little bit better. And doesn't make things blend together so much. But at the same time, it does give like a pleasing effect. So let's see what else we can do. Sorry about that. Hold on. I turned away from the microphone, I promise. All right. Environment high and normal. Okay, normally environment in a Far Cry game greatly affects frame rate. But if you turn environment down in a Far Cry game, you normally get more pop in. So I don't want to screw with that yet. Normally you can get away with turning water down. So let's turn water down to normal and see if that helps any. What we want to do is see if we get a frame rate boost from doing it, which it doesn't really look like we do because we're still in the 50s. There might be a slight 2 to 5 frame per second boost. So you want to see if you get a frame rate boost, but you also then want to see if it makes the water look hideous. In some games, turning the water quality down looks hideous. In some games, it doesn't matter. Like in Far Cry 4, I put the water on low, and I don't even care. I just don't care. I think it's fine. quality settings. All right, textures. Okay, high is as high as they go. That sucks. A lot of games have been doing that lately. See, this is what really sucks for people with 2 gigabyte graphics cards is when there's only high, normal, high. Oh my lord, there's only 2 choices. Yeah, that sucks for people with 2 gigabyte graphics cards because in some games, like Batman Arkham Knight, you can't use the highest textures if you have a 2 gig card. And the game actually looks ugly with anything but the highest textures. So I like it when you have your 5 choices: low, medium, high, very high, ultra. All right, shadow. All right, we're going to go to normal on shadow. Wow. Oh, I normally do like turning terrain up. So what I did was I turned shadow down and I turned terrain up. I don't know. Okay, going by the time of day that we're dealing with right now, it's hard to tell if what I've done makes it look better or worse. I'm just going to be real with you. I can't tell yet. So let's go get us a yellow diamond. Let's move the plot along. These videos are too long for my own good. I'm fully aware of this. Because anyone that's going to watch this hour-long video probably would have just bought the game by now. All right, I'm trying to get over to this spot. There we go, right? Takar's Cave. Do I need to upgrade it? Talk to Sayla. Sayla. I think they call her Sayla in the cutscenes. I don't know. The high preset might look better than what I've done. Just being real. So let's go back to the high preset. We could have the option to go from high to custom. Where are we at? There we go. Custom. Let's go back. There's high, custom. Let's see here. Now, you don't hit X to apply, but as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, there's like a little white spearhead that lights up. This doesn't look great, but it might look, the overall image might look better than what I had. I think the high preset might be as good as we're going to get for the 960, just to be real with you. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Go back to custom. There we go. See if that's my settings. Yeah, that looks like my settings. I can't tell. I think it's a little more washed out the way I did it. And I think it's a little more atmospheric on the high preset. But at the same time, on the high preset, it wasn't mind-blowingly great either. I'm going to have to take some time with this. Actually, I think this looks pretty good in the cutscene. She's kind of cute. I mean, she's got half of her head shaved, which is really never a good sign, but she's kind of cute. What is this, an upgraded club? Yeah, I mean, this murders. Once you put it like on the high preset and get in that 60 frame per second neighborhood, this just murders the consoles. In cold blood. Just destroys consoles. But when you have it on that ultra preset, you're in the 30s and 40s frame rate wise, you're not destroying consoles at that point. I mean, you can argue like, oh, but all these things are turned up, all these sliders. I don't know. I mean, I got mixed feelings on it. All right, clubs are fast. Yeah, I want some spears. Everyone says spears are good. All right, hold RT and let go for a heavy attack. So it looks like we're about to get into a fight with my custom settings. This looks pretty good. This chick is all about taking people's ears. Like, she is into that. That's kind of her fetish. What? No, really, what? So the bad guy just punches me? I'm going to turn the shadows back up. Actually, chick over here in the bikini top looks cuter. Yeah, they do have some normal chicks. Alright, let me turn shadows back up. Okay, where... Warning, front gate under attack. Okay. I just don't know why the group of bad guys let me go. I mean, they threw me to the ground and then they walked away like no big deal. Now, as you can see, my beast... Hey, I want to feed you. Where is the prompt to feed? We go back to the prompt issues with the games. With the game. Leaving the mission zone. Alright. Seriously? I don't know. The high preset might look better than this little custom deal I put together. Just to be completely honest. Now see that situation there? I have to be very careful to not hit my teammates. I have to hesitate. Which is one of the reasons why I'm playing on a lower difficulty. Shit. I threw my club. Where did it land? There we go. And they just poisoned me. Alright, which one's a bad guy? I'm hesitating so that I don't... Wow, how does this dude have so much poison? Come here, beastie. I'm hesitating so that I don't accidentally attack my teammates. See? I think that's my teammate. And that's my... Basically, you got to put an arrow aimer on them. And it's like, oh, those are green X's. Okay, those are red X's. There we go. Alright, I'm going to put this on the Ultra preset. Alright, because this is going to be the end of the video. We're going to finish this conflict. See that upper right hand little spear thing that just went away? What I want to do is wait till everything loads. Alright, see we're in the 30s. What we're going to do is we're going to finish this conflict and that will be the end of the video. This is not the tutorial area. This is an open area, but it's also early in the game. So you can argue that maybe the game becomes more demanding. I don't know. It might. Maybe the game plays worse than this later on. Maybe another patch comes and the game plays better. If it does... Oh, look, you have a green diamond above your head. One of you does. That's useful. And I got poisoned. Gotta heal myself. I don't know. So far, the presets look pretty decent. In Far Cry, I've normally been all about coming up with custom graphic settings to make the game look better. And I think I eventually will in this game. But as of right now, these presets are fine. Green. See, I have to aim at the person to make sure they're green. Can I jump over this? No. Okay. Yellow diamond. Oh, look. Some of these people have Oh, there's naked women. Hopefully that doesn't flag my video. All right, so what do you want me to do? Hunt them down. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to loot these. Come here, animal, so I can feed you. Come here. We're going to loot these corpses, and I'm going to end the video. Remember, we're on the Ultra preset with PC. Come here, little animal. I want to feed the animal, okay? And it's driving me nuts how many times I've had to, like, position myself to get the prompt to feed them. And remember, I'm losing my voice in case it's not obvious. So, I like the game. It is, if you take the Far Cry name off of it, you might like it too. That's the issue. This is not Far Cry 3. This is not Far Cry 4. But then again, those were not Far Cry 2. Nor were they Far Cry 1. If you take the Far Cry name off of it, I think most people would like this game. Granted, it is a lot more limited. I mean, there's not an ATV, there's not a helicopter, there's not a boat, there's not those kinds of things. But it's still an interesting game in its own right. Is it worth $60? Well, here's the thing. Far Cry Blood Dragon, I don't know why people love that game so much. And I'm saying this as somebody who owns it. I own every Far Cry game there is. I bought the franchise pack. All right? I have Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, Blood Dragon, Primal. Got all these games. All right? I personally think Blood Dragon, and I need to play it again because maybe I'm wrong. But when I played Blood Dragon about a year ago on PC with the GTX 970, the impression that I got was it was DLC quality graphics. Like it wasn't even like retail game graphics. And there's a difference. I'll give you another example. On the PlayStation 4, there is there's a naked woman over here. On the PlayStation 4, there is a game, what's it called? Infamous Second Son. Infamous Second Son is a retail release, and for a console game, it looks really good. I see a Gray X. No, hold on. Put that down. Put it down. I have this turned on so I can try to find where the Gray X is so I can search the body. And it looks like the body's over here. Alright, so PlayStation 4 has a game called Infamous Second Son. And it's a good looking game for a console game. And it's a retail release. Now there's First Light, which is the DLC game, and in my opinion, Infamous First Light looks like a DLC game. The city environment does not look as good as it does in the retail game. And I feel like Far Cry Blood Dragon was the same way. Where critics are praising those two games. They praise First Light, they praise Blood Dragon. But in my opinion, they look like crap. They look like DLC games. I don't care if they are only $15. They look like DLC games, and I don't want to play them. Because both of them, Blood Dragon and First Light, both of those games come from franchises where the game they're based off of is a good-looking game. And then you go and you play the DLC, and it looks like a DLC game. Far Cry Primal looks like a retail game. It's beautiful. We're playing with a 2 gigabyte card, and it might not do it justice in some areas. Like the club, normally the light shines off of those textures really well. Oh, you know what? Let's put it in high. That might be the issue. Let's go back to high. Because I think you have to have the 60 frames per second. All right, that's a lot better. The light shines off. See, the light shines off of it better. People disagree with me about this all the time, but I'll swear by it. When you have a game playing at a proper 60 frames per second, things pop differently. I am firmly of the opinion that when you are pushing your graphics card and you're only getting in the 30s and 40s when you could otherwise get in the 60s, I think what happens is things just don't quite render right. Everybody only cares about frame rate. But to me, graphics is about way more than frame rate. And it's about more than sliders. People will talk to you about turning options up in the settings, but they can't tell you a damn thing about what those options really do. You know, in a lot of games like Far Cry 4, even with the GTX 980 Ti, which I have a 2 gigabyte 960, a 4 gigabyte 960, a 970, a 980 Ti. Even with the 980 Ti, I still lower the water in Far Cry 4 because to me, ultra water doesn't look good enough to warrant losing frames. So I'll take the frames. I lower shadows down to high or very high. I don't like the ultra shadows in that game. But terrain, I need that on ultra. Environment, I need that on ultra. Or very high or whatever it is it goes up to. Point being is I can play a game and I can pick apart what settings really matter. And I think most people, all they care about is, can I max the setting out and what frame rate do I get? And I don't think they really see the nuance in the image quality. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's a sidebar. So, is it worth $60? To me, yes, for me. For a lot of people, probably not. Because if you go in this thinking like, where are the guns? Where's the C4? Where's the rocket launcher? Where's the ATV? Where's the helicopter? Where's the multiplayer? Where's the main bad guy? This game doesn't have any of that. And so for a lot of people, it's not going to be worth it. But look at this right here. The way the lighting is right here and how complex this image is right here and the sharpness right here. This is like pornography for my eyeballs right now. This looks really good. And it's still got the Far Cry mechanics. So if this was not a Far Cry game, if this was called Caveman Simulator, right? Like if Ubisoft pretended they were an indie developer and they called this Caveman Simulator, I think people would think it's one of the greatest games of 2016. I'm not saying this is one of the greatest games of 2016. I'm saying that if Ubisoft pretended they were an indie company, released it under a different name and called it Caveman Simulator, I think a lot of people would try it. Okay? But because it's a Far Cry game, and because it reuses some Far Cry animations, and because it doesn't live up to what Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 were, I think a lot of people are going to have hate for this game. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, if I had to pick between this and 3 and 4, I don't know which would be my favorite so far. I just started this game. There's no way I could say this is my favorite. Even with that said, I mean, if you could only pick one Far Cry game, I think most people would pick 3. I would pick 4. If I could have one Far Cry game only, I would probably pick 4. I feel like 4 has a ton to do in it. Plus it has a helicopter. Plus it has fun co-op. I would go with 4 if I could only have one. But for me, this is still a good game. All right, this is still a full retail game. This is still a good game. But here's my rule. If you have to ask yourself if this is worth $60, chances are you're probably not going to like it. That is the new rule that I'm starting to come up with when people ask me if a game is worth $60. Unless it's like, I'd say, I don't know, like I told people The Witcher 3 is worth $60 because I think it is. The problem is there's some people who legitimately don't like that game. There are people who do not like The Witcher 3. They exist. All right? So to them, it would not be worth $60 because they don't like the game. Man, it is really hard to judge whether or not you should tell people a game is worth $60 or not. So I'm at a point where I have to say, to me, this is a full release. It doesn't have janky, crappy DLC graphics. So for me, this is worth $60. For a lot of people, it will not be worth $60 because it is missing a lot of the stuff the other Far Cry games have. But again, I tell you what, if Ubisoft only charged $40 for this game, I think more people would be willing to check it out. And considering all the things this game does not have, it might be fair to say they should only charge $40. I think in Ubisoft's mind, they still took the trouble to create a full quality AAA release. And guys, this is beautiful right now. What I'm looking at right here is absolutely stunningly beautiful. Okay? So I think in their minds, as much work as they put into this game, and you could say, oh, it's the same engine and blah, blah, blah. You can tell this is still a lot of work. This is a more sophisticated game. This is the most sophisticated Far Cry game that's come out so far, is what I would say. So I think in Ubisoft's mind, they feel like they can charge full price. However, if they only charged $40 for this game and they called it Caveman Simulator, I think people would be rating it 8 and 9, and I think it would have a ton of buzz. That's what I think. So anyway, I know this is a long video. Let me check. 1 hour and 7 minutes. Guys, I am so sorry I make these videos so long. But here's what you got to realize. I showed you high preset, very high preset, ultra preset. I showed you VSync on, VSync off. And then here's the thing. I covered a certain amount of area. For all you know, it's going to get a different frame rate in the cutscenes. All right, check this out. There's something saw me. So let's bring out the owl to figure out what saw me. It's usually a person. Oh, there we go. It should be over there. See? Are there more people? All right. So you look at all these different things I've shown you. I've shown you systems in the game. I've shown you how sometimes it's hard to get prompts to come up on the screen. I've shown you things that I think look good and don't look good. I've played around with some of the graphic settings for some live benchmarking. I feel like I've shown you guys a lot of things. So it's not a long video just for the sake of it being a long video, but I make thorough videos. Okay, my videos are very, very thorough. Now, what most people do, is there a benchmarking utility for this game? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to save and quit. Let me see if there's a benchmarking utility, because I think I've seen people run one. I could be wrong. Let's do save and quit. Let's see if that takes us to the title screen. What a lot of people do is they run a benchmark utility and then they show you an average frame rate, and that's all they do. But there's a ton of stuff they're not showing you. Like, I am showing you systems. I'm showing you cutscenes. I'm showing you what happens when you walk around in the wilderness. I'm talking to you about what the animals do. I'm showing you the game at day. I'm showing you the game at night. I'm showing you the game with your club lit, with your club not lit. You see what I mean? Like, there's a lot that was covered in this video, and that takes time. I can't do that in a 5-minute video. All right, there is a benchmark. See, here's what most YouTubers do. And don't get me wrong, some of these YouTubers are my friends. So I'm not saying this to be a monster. I'm not saying this to be a bad person. I'm not saying this to throw shade. I'm not saying this to be salty. But I'm saying this to be real with you, my viewers, okay? People who understand the work that I do with these videos. What most of your YouTubers do is they run this benchmark. And then they tell you the 2GB GTX 960, we got an average frame rate of such and such. They ran the benchmark, bro. That's all they did. They loaded the game up. They ran the benchmark. They wrote the number down on a PowerPoint slide. And they have like a real quick video for you. Normally it's when they're doing a review of a graphics card, which they may not even talk about this game. But if they do, they ran the benchmark. Now, I think the benchmark is fine. Look at this. Minimum FPS 48. Average 55. Maximum 61. Frames rendered 2775. VRAM usage 88%. That's very interesting. If we use the 4GB card, I wonder how much VRAM usage we would have. Because I know Far Cry 4 uses a decent amount of VRAM. More than 2 gigs. All right, so anyway, I promise I'm wrapping this video up now. But what a lot of people do is they just run the benchmark and they give you that average. And that average is important. Okay, if I have 20 different graphics cards in front of me, that benchmark is still a decent way of gauging how powerful each of the graphics cards are to an extent, right? It's like this graphics card is 10% faster or slower or whatever. So I think there's some usefulness to doing that, no doubt. But it is not the same thing as what I did. I'm like, this is what the game looks like at night with a torch, without a torch. This is what it does with VSync, without VSync. Here's these 3 different presets, which I think are the 3 most relevant presets. Now, if you're going to play high frame rate and maybe you wanted me to do the lower medium preset, I apologize for that. This was already a really long video, and what I get asked about the most for a GTX 960 is normally going to be high, very high, and ultra. Those are the 3 things that people want to know the most. And then that's the other thing, is normally whenever another YouTuber talks to you about how a game does, they just max the game out. They don't talk to you about the high preset. You know what I mean? They'll max it out. And you know what the worst is? When they do 1080p and they do 4K. But they don't do 1440p. Oh, man, that is the worst. Oh, that's the worst. And even then, they're still just maxing the game out. And that's important. Don't get me wrong. But usually they're maxing the game out, running the benchmark. And that's all they're doing. So that's why my videos are long, guys. Because I take the time to show you this. It would be so much faster for me to do my videos the other way. It really would. But what I do is I give a demonstration. I got 8 different graphics cards I give demonstrations for right now. And I plan on getting all the Polaris graphics cards and all of the Pascal. I currently have almost all of the Maxwell cards. I've got like I told you, the 960 2 gig, 964 gig, 970, 980 Ti. I don't have a 950. I don't have a 980. But I feel like I cover enough of the Maxwell spectrum. Arguably, I could have a 750 Ti because that was a Maxwell card. But I digress. And then on the AMD side, I have a 380, a 390, and a 390X. And going forward, I want to have all the cards. Remember, I buy these cards with my own money right now, and this YouTube channel is not profitable. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because not too many people want to watch an hour-long video about how the 2 gigabyte GTX 960 plays Far Cry Primal. Not a lot of people want to watch that video, okay? So I am spending a lot of money to make videos that I know are really helpful for people, but it's a small number of people. It's not a high enough number of people to pay for all this stuff. But going forward, I do want to have all the cards. Long video with an even longer explanation, but some of my longtime viewers, y'all get what I'm doing. You appreciate this, and I appreciate you. So thanks for watching, guys. Have yourselves an excellent day. So far, the 960, it seems to handle the game. That's better than I could say about Rise of the Tomb Raider. In my opinion, Rise of the Tomb Raider is not a great experience on the 960. There's a couple other new releases. They're escaping my mind right now, but they're not. Oh, 2 gigabyte 960. I don't like Just Cause 3 with the 2 gigabyte 960. I hate it. I did a rant. So 2 gigabyte 960, at least the beginning areas of the game, it can play it. And you saw, I mean, we have room for margin of error. Like, even if the game becomes harder to run in later areas, that high preset, okay, so instead of being in the 50s and 60s, it might be in the 40s and 50s. Maybe it even goes to the 30s and 40s. But I think most people are of the mindset that, okay, at least it can play the game competently enough. You know, even if it's not holding a true 60 frames per second, which can be a letdown, at least it can play the game. And so far, that's been my observation. The 2 gigabyte card can play this game. Now, Just Cause 3, in my opinion, is such a crap show with this card. I wouldn't even say that this card competently plays Just Cause 3. A lot of people argued with me in the comments, and they say, oh, they have the 2 gigabyte card. They think it plays fine. That game plays like a mess for me on the 2 gig card, and it uses all 2 gigs of the VRAM. So, at least this game is playable. Thanks for watching, guys. I love you. Thank you very much. Have yourselves an excellent day. I'm going to shut up now because the video is already too long.